Hello everyone and welcome back to Oba's Trending Gist. Today we are diving deep into the swirling controversy surrounding Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike. The recent report have detailed an altercation between the minister and the naval officer over a land dispute in Abuja. The incident has sparked a heated debate, drawing both criticism and support. Minister Wike has since addressed the public in a candid press conference aiming to clarify his actions and shed light on the deeper issues at play. Is he a defender of public interest, or is his approach undermining the due process? Let's hear directly from Minister himself before we delve into our critical take. So sit back and take a watch.
What was the problem? How can I see it as a minister? Government officials are being attacked. Government officials are being beaten up. Government officials to the level of directorship. Then I'm sitting in my office doing what? How will such officials carry out their functions again when they know their principal or their boss cannot protect them? Not as private individuals, as government officials. So many people have had problems. Chief Olusegun Passenger, former a general, former head of state, former president, he will call me on phone. Minister, I look good at this problem of land here. I say, please carry. I will solve the problem. That is former head of state, former elected president. We have the courtesy of calling the minister. Look, I have this problem. I have this problem. See how you can look into it. General Tiwadan Juma would call you. Look, that is this and this and this. These are people who, they're all retired generals. These are people with constant discipline. They didn't bother because they were former chief of minister. They were former president. They never sent soldiers. They never sent anybody to go and attack anybody. They just call you. And respect the gas, respect. I have to respect them. And I'll tell them, sir, don't worry. I will sort out the problem. And I will do. I won't even talk about other people who are highly placed. They will come to you. Mr. Minister, maybe we didn't know of this. If we knew, we would have done it like this. When a serving Major General attacked the development control, I wrote a letter. The President Chief of Defense Staff was Chief of Army Staff then. I wrote a letter, sir. See. Because that is a serving military officer. That if anything goes wrong, he's still under the authority, under the control of the military. When I came on board, before then, President Jonathan had awarded a contract to develop another city, which was close to the military, but awarded a contract, not me. A Federal Council presided over by the CNC awarded it. The contractor went there, he was just away. I wrote a letter. We met. The late Chief of Army Staff, Alabangi, was there. The former Chief of Defense Staff was there. These same ministers of defense, they were all there. We all met. I said, look, it is not good, this government and government. I mean, it's not, let's see how we can resolve this matter. I never one day, I respect institutions. And I know what it takes. Even as a governor, no governor will say that they supported the military more than me. So I know. But how do you see a private individual times, you are against the law. It is not military versus government. No. If it was military, I would have written to them that, look, military, why are you doing this? This is a private individual. Land was not allocated to him. Land was allocated to a company called Santos in 2007 for parks and recreation. They applied to the former minister for change of use. The minister refused. The man went, started selling land. Maybe the former chief of Naval staff fell into their scam, sold. This government property. It's not your property. If government officials came to say, look, what are you doing here now? This is not, government has sat under the ministerial committee and taken back every land under parks and even under secretariat, because we felt that there are a lot of delays, suits, litigations. We said, no, we won't continue with that. You send this to start beating government officials. Not private, but government officials, beating them. Senior government officials, you were beaten. You couldn't even say, okay, let me get to the minister. See how he can help us, No, not tolerant. Simply because you had a relationship with the military. And government cannot enforce laws because you are attached or you had a relationship with a particular institution, or you come from a particular place. Who does that? Who does such thing? How would this country progress?
That was Minister Wike addressing the press on the controversial land dispute that has captivated national attention. As we've heard, the minister's impassioned defense of his actions stem from what he perceived as a breakdown in the respect of government institution and due process, particularly when it involved public property. Let us unpack his key arguments and observations. Wike highlights a critical concern: the alleged attack and beating up of government officials, some even at the director level, over land matters. He questions how he, as a minister, can remain passive when those working under him are subjected to such treatment. This stance underscores a deeply rooted problem within our governance structure: the perception that individuals can act with impunity against public servants or public resources. However, his approach to the situation raises important questions about the rule of law versus influence of personality and power. Wike refers to former head of states and presidents like Chief Olusegun Obasanjo and General T.Y. Danjuma, stating that they would call a minister directly to address land problems, showing courtesy and seeking resolution through dialogue. He contrasts this with the current situation where, in his view, a private individual is disrespecting institutional authority. So, while acknowledging the need for respect for elders and former leaders, the implicit comparison suggests that direct personalized intervention might be seen as a more effective or even preferred method of resolving disputes, potentially bypassing standard bureaucratic or legal channels. This could inadvertently perpetuate a system where personal relationship and influence overshadow established legal frameworks, rather than strengthening the institutions themselves. He recounts a specific instance where he intervened when a serving major general was allegedly attacked. Wike emphasizes that he wrote a letter and implies that this was the correct institutional approach, differentiating it from sending soldiers to attack anybody. This distinction is vital. Upholding due process, even when dealing with military personnel, is paramount to civil-military relationship and the rule of law. His assertion that he would promptly address issues brought to him by highly placed individuals further illustrates the prevalence of a patronage system, or at least a highly personalized approach to governance. The minister then delved into the specifics of the land issue, mentioning a contract previously awarded by President Jonathan. He clarified that the land in question was allocated to a company he referred to as Santos for park and recreation in 2007, not a private individual. He states that a former minister refused to approve a change of use for this land, yet the individual allegedly proceeded to sell it. Wike firmly states that this is government property and not private, and that his administration, through an administrative committee, reclaimed this land due to perceived delay and litigations. So this aspect of his statement is particularly revealing. It highlights potential irregularities in past land allocations, changes in land use, and the challenges of reclaiming public assets from powerful private interests. The mention of delays in litigation as a reason for administrative intervention while aiming for efficiency also raises concern about potential circumvention of judicial processes. In a democratic society, administrative actions must always be seen to uphold, not bypass, the court, especially when complex property rights are involved. Wike's frustration with the inability to enforce law because of an individual's relationship with the military or their origin from a particular place is telling. It speaks to the systematic challenges of favoritism under influence and corruption that often plague land administration and law enforcement in Nigeria. His question, who does that and how will this country progress, resonates deeply with citizens who yearn for a society where laws are applied equally to all, irrespective of status or connection. However, the solution to such problem must lie in strengthening the institutions that uphold justice and law rather than relying on powerful interventions of individual ministers. While Wike's zeal to correct perceived wrong is evident, true progress requires transparent, consistent, and legally sound processes that inspire confidence across board. The incident serves as a stark reminder of the continuous struggle for transparent governance and the equitable land management in Nigeria. For the nation to progress, the focus must shift from who can resolve a problem based on their position to a system where institutions are strong enough to protect public property and enforce law without fear of favor. That's our take on the matter. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with Minister Wike's action, or do you believe there's a better way to address such disputes? Share your opinions in the comments section below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Obas Trending Gist for more in-depth analysis of the news that matters. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.